The second part of that mathematical formula is narcissism. Now, what I'm not saying is that the individual has what we call NPD, Narcissistic Personality Disorder. Don't put that term into Google to try and find out what a narcissist is, because I'm not saying the person with porn addiction is necessarily, they could be, is necessarily a narcissist. What I am saying is those with porn addiction will have traits that come out of narcissism. And the traits are about self. In other words, the activities of porn and sex addiction is all about serving me. So there's a me, I, myself. There's a me, myself, and I mentality. So the individuals stop being able to see other people. So those with the addiction can't see the individuals on the other side of the camera providing the service, the images. They don't see them in their life, and how did they come to end up doing those behaviors? They don't think that way, and if it enters their mind, they blot it out. And so that can translate into real life, where individuals with porn sex addiction become much more self-focused and self-centered, but they can't see it because they may think that they are introvert, don't want attention, and that they are helping others. But what you'll find is those with narcissistic traits or narcissism are doing what they do for other people with a condition that something's going to come back to give me something. I haven't explained that so well, but I hope you get something from that. Let me give you a definition of sex addiction. This is the definition that I use. A pattern of sexual behaviors which preoccupy your thoughts and are out of control. You cannot stay stopped for a sustainable period or consistently, and it has harmful consequences, and the behavior serves a function in your life, and it is used primarily to anesthetize some negative feeling state. Now, what is really important is the criteria that makes it an addiction is that the behaviors serve a function. If the behaviors don't actually serve a function, helping me to manage my day, my week, my life, then it's not a sex addiction. It may be a love of sex, but they can stop at any time and not have any adverse consequences, like a withdrawal from giving their body the physiology, the chemicals. If it doesn't serve a function, then it's not an addiction. What is important is the physiology of the body has become use dependent on those potent chemicals, and that helps them to escape their problems temporarily. Know that porn sex addiction amongst adults, therefore likely also amongst children, increased exponentially during COVID lockdown. No longer able to go into the office, not able to interact with other people, the brain found another coping strategy. And so many women and men and children access pornography at increased rates, and of course the inappropriate way in which they did the behaviors increased because you want to interact with other people, and so sexting and other images webcam viewing with each other was another outlet for feeding the behaviors. Such behaviors increased exponentially. Porn, sex addiction is at pandemic levels. I would suggest that probably 70% of every church congregation has a problem in terms of sexual indiscretions. I'm not saying 70% of every congregation have sex porn addiction. I'm saying there are various indiscretions, whether it's affairs, interaction with other people in a sexual way, is prevalent and is a big problem. I know that it is a big problem in the ministry because I work with a number of ministers. I know there is a big problem amongst our ministers, and it does mean the ministers are the gatekeepers to a specialist like me coming into churches and congregations to talk about this topic, because there's an aspect of guilt and shame which arises for them as ministers. So I have faced this over many years. And ministers can become the gatekeepers to the help that individuals within our churches desperately need. Open the gates. Get your own help, ministers, but open the gateway for specialist help for many in our congregations. And it's such a difficult topic to talk about and to discuss. But staying quiet just allows the behaviors to proliferate. There is a major problem in our churches. Take a look at a petition that I have talked about, where there is a sort of a peace and reconciliation amnesty for those in our churches, church workers, to be able to come out of the closet, I use that term, from their porn sex use without necessarily losing their jobs in churches, their roles in churches. It may be necessary to stand them down for a period of time. But in the past, churches and headquarters have used a hammer, a sledgehammer, to deal with the problem when they have found out. But they have missed the fact of why the individual gravitated to the use of porn many years before, as a coping strategy. Churches, we are not handling this very well. There is a major problem out there.